live through us. Forever they will.
Killing a Jedi ain't easy, but it does pay well. What's up, Meta Nerds? This video is all about the terrifying JK-13 security droid. It was manufactured by Cestus Cybernetics, a subsidiary of Bactoid Armor Workshop that made most of the Separatist battle droids. Their main facility was on Ord Cestus in the Outer Rim, where they produced the buggers for 80,000 credits. That's about 40 times the cost of a B1, 4 times that of a Vulture droid, but only about 1/5 the cost of a Droideka. And CC wasn't accepting meat as payment either. It stood 1.5 meters, or nearly 5 feet tall, making it shorter than all the other CIS infantry droids. By the time of the Clone Wars, they were selling so many of these Jedi Killers that it accounted for 60% of the Cestus economy, with the actual plant that manufactured them being a 1,000 square kilometer complex that went 24 levels underground. But how did it actually work? Well, you start with an eel, specifically the Dashta eel, which was highly force sensitive and in great abundance on their homeworld of Ord Cestus. By integrating it essentially into a mech suit, it became a Bio-Droid, a kind of cyborg with organic matter meshed into a droid CPU. The droid side would move to kill things that the organic side felt contained a strong presence in the Force. This was really a brilliant way to have the droid detect and seek out Jedi specifically. Or I guess also children that weren't discovered yet and would have grown up to become Jedi. Let's just hope they didn't have any take your child to work days at the old Cestus Cybernetics plant. Once the eel detected the Jedi's presence in the Force, the digital side would initiate programming, making the droid body attack that presence relentlessly. This eel mech suit that looks like a spider could kill its prey with its stinger and large claws, which also allowed it to travel across terrain or up buildings at a terrifying speed. But its main weapon were these long, stun tentacles. See how each are very thin strands of wire that extend from the Jedi Killer's head? Each of them had enough stun power to incapacitate a large organic. The articulation of each of these strands was so precise that it was considered one of the best engineered droids in the entire galaxy. With a single strand, it could perform precise cuts, whether at eyes or throats, or lash hundreds of separate areas on a being at once, flaying them into a painful death. It could also combine these strands like a thick rope to smash through walls or provide the blunt force trauma to kill enemies wearing armor. Essentially, thin razor blades for cutting flesh, or a powerful hammer force for crushing in helmets. Jedi Master Devon Fordeshell had his arm lopped off by one of these, and he considered himself lucky to have just survived. When Kit Fisto and Obi-Wan were dispatched to investigate and neutralize this threat, the JK-13 easily blew through a destroyer droid on its way to killing ARC Trooper Surdy, and then nearly killed the 2 Jedi Generals. These are 2 of the greatest swordsmen of the Order, and it still took their combined efforts to keep the barrage of tentacles back, with Obi-Wan actually using his lightsaber and a light whip, while they had to get past its unique variant of a deflector shield called a Zythan Force Shield. The 2 were horrified at the prospect of the CIS rolling out thousands of these Jedi Killers, a plan that Count Dooku purposely let the Republic find intel on. But in fact, Dooku was just bluffing. This was in the year 22 BBY, the first year of the Clone Wars, and he figured that with this JK-13 attack and the corroborating intel, the Republic and Jedi would panic, and they would waste resources frantically trying to develop a counter to this droid that Dooku never actually planned to incorporate into the CIS. Mechanically, it was a great feat of engineering, but its downfall came from the biological side of this Bio-Droid. Yep, despite how simple and straightforward you would think it would be to neurolace a force-sensitive eel into a spider mech suit and sicken on Jedi, surprisingly this process has some complications. Part of having its force-sensitive abilities came with a level of consciousness, an awareness of what these Bio-Droids were doing. Cestus Cybernetics essentially made them lose any sort of free will, an imprisoned ghost in the machine, forced to experience the hunting and killing of other sentient beings while having no control over their actions. This quickly drove the eels insane, created a complete mental and physical shock that would lead to the JK-13's malfunctioning, with the eels dying shortly thereafter. For this reason, they could never be fielded as a droid of war, and that's why they were never used in the CIS army. But funny enough, it should be noted that neither Kit Fisto or Obi-Wan went even mildly insane after ending the Dashta eel's unique and beautiful spark of life. Also, think about how gangster Dooku is, that he propped up 60% of Ord Cestus' economy just to scare the Jedi with a droid that he never even planned to use. Once this was eventually uncovered, it was referred to as the Cestus Deception, If you watched our video on the CB3 Cortosis droid, you know that droid creation was intended to be an infantry unit, and was such a threat to the Jedi that Darth Sidious had to intervene. What do you think of the JK-13? Do you believe that if it worked correctly, the Republic and Jedi would have been quickly destroyed? And do you wish we would have seen it on the big screen? Or do you just hope that it eventually gets brought back into canon? Definitely let me know in the comments down below. If you want to connect with us on social media, learn about ways that you can support the channel without it costing you a thing, or check out our Patreon, be sure to check out the links in the description. Special shout out to our supporters over on Patreon. But most important of all, remember, stuffing eels into a spider mech suit always seems like a good idea until you actually do it. And the Force will be with you, always.